sensitives have suffered a similar fate to those in Sweden. Can you imagine working and saving to buy a home, paying the mortgage, and after a number of years in the house, a mobile phone mast is directed in your locality, and you begin to feel unwell with sort of strange and weird symptoms? You then discover that your severe discomfort is due to the radiation from the mast. The only way out of the problem is to move house. Supposing you had to move 5 or 6 times in order to get respite from the radiation from other masts. In other words, you begin to find that there's nowhere to hide from this, and those who are severely electrically sensitive find that's a great problem. Where do they go? One of the members of the organisation lives in Wexford, and her case has been well documented in her having to move out of her little Scandinavian bungalow every night to go and sleep with different relatives around the county Wexford. I don't know how many she's been to. I think about 9 or 10 at least, round the clock. She also has had to move out to the beach in Corriclow and sleep in a mobile home, which is no joke in weather like we're having. So that's the story of those who are sensitive, and that's a little bit about the story of the group of doctors who've got interested in the issue. As I said, there'll probably be questions later on, so without more ado, I'll just sit down and let the others have their word.
I would just like to apologise in case someone didn't hear Con or not, but the microphone-like system we asked Care House for, but it wasn't working tonight, so it wasn't any fault of ours that it wasn't. So if you can't hear, you might just, you could move up to a few seats at the front. But Bary has informed me that his voice is fairly well carried, so we'll be able to hear him. So I'll pass you over to Bary now.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies, gentlemen. Can you hear me okay at the back? Okay, thank you. When these transmitters first started going up, what the MPs described as ordinary, sensible people suddenly realised that there were more cancers than normal around these transmitters. And a lady living in Devon decided to do a little bit of a survey, which was published, and in 2002 they looked at just 19 transmitters around Europe, around the United Kingdom. They looked at 19 transmitters where there were quite a lot of complaints, and they found that there were 92 sudden cancers, mostly breast, thyroids, bowel and leukemias, and the average age was 39. This was followed in the same year by a group of around 300 hospital consultants who also realised they were getting more people being sick than normal, and being very, very clever people, as all doctors are, they isolated why these problems were coming in, and they produced a report called the Freiberger Appeal. It has now been signed by over 3,000 doctors and scientists, and I will read the list once because it comes up again and again. But the symptoms they isolated, which was a very difficult job because most of these symptoms are what most people go to the doctors with, and I suspect it was only when they couldn't cure it and they started trying other things and couldn't cure it with those that people who went away suddenly got better, and when they came back they became worse. And that's how they found a link. But nevertheless, they did find a link. And I'll read out some of the symptoms. Behavioural disorders, mental disorders, in other words, suicidal tendencies, depression, sleeping problems, fluctuations in blood pressure, heart problems, brain degenerative diseases, Alzheimer's, epilepsy, cancerous afflictions, leukemia, brain tumours, headaches, migraines, chronic exhaustion, vaginal discharges, agitation, tinnitus, ringing in the ears, susceptibility to infection. In other words, the immune system was 47%, only roughly half as effective as it would be, and all sorts of nervous symptoms. It was dismissed by the industry and the governments and the government scientists as utter bogwash because it wasn't conducted scientifically.